Good morning, gardening friends. Today is Thursday, January 26th, 2023, and I just wanted to update you as to what's been going on here. A lot of little things, nothing major, but here's my front porch. This amaryllis is about bloomed out, and I will be planting it outside shortly. That's one of the reasons why I only get one color amaryllis, red. I've been getting it for the last 30 years. And every year I plant them out front yard or backyard. And they'll last for probably about 4 or 5 years before they peter out. I did want to mention my hyacinths are in bloom. And I saw on YouTube a lot of questions about hyacinths and, oh my goodness, my hyacinths are coming up crooked. What should I do? Well, I have the solution for you. It is known as a chopstick, and it is perfect for that purpose of sticking it underneath the blossom of a hyacinth. And you can see it's not perfect, but it'll do. And chopsticks are just the right height, and it doesn't affect the hyacinth in any way. And there you go. Fix that problem. What else? My anthurium is still in bloom over here. Hadn't shown it recently. I will flip-flop it. It tends to like the spot where the amaryllis is. It gets slightly more sun over there. The other thing I did do this week is I bought 2 more primroses. I had one, and I went ahead and planted it. That was the original one I had. And I planted it in a bulb pot because I kind of like the look of the bulb pots. I'm going to enjoy it inside. And I do garden in a zone 8B, and these primroses will grow outside in this zone. Of course, frost will knock them back to the ground. The problem with primroses is they are slug magnets. So I thought by this year I would try growing them in a pot. Last year I've been buying primroses forever, but it wasn't until last year that I realized, oh my goodness, I could put them in the ground. And that was when I realized, oh my goodness, slugs like to eat them. So this year I'm going to leave them in this pot and hopefully put that out on my back deck, and hopefully the slugs will not be able to get to it. This is the other chalice vine. I think I told you last week I had a cutting I took years ago. Well, that's the cutting. And let's go outside, and it is a chilly, chilly day. Tomorrow is going to be another light frost, so I will bring some stuff in, like these pelargoniums. But they're doing fine. I don't think there's really not anything new here in the front yard. There's where I planted one of the first amaryllis that I had this year that bloomed inside. I want to see if my high fragrance camellia is blooming over here. Oh, the birds are out using the bird feeder. I did notice my first cardinal this last week. I said accidentally in a video a couple times ago that I meant to say cardinals back then, that the cardinals had come back. Well, it turns out that the robins have actually come back as well. Well, not much progress has been made on this particular camellia. Well, I guess it has opened. Normally they're bigger than that. This is high fragrance. Let me take a whiff. Yep, it still smells quite sweet. I liken the scent to a hyacinth, but that's high fragrance is actually the name of that particular camellia. Not much else has happened here since we were last out front. It's about 9 o'clock, I should say. So things are quiet on the construction front. You can see they're staging a lot of pipes For the last 2 years, that was a mud pit when Rouse's was working on their building. And now it's a staging area. However, I did find out good news. I talked to the construction manager and he showed me where the sidewalk's going to be, and it's not going to impact my property, which is good. I'll just be happy when it's over and I've got peace and quiet again. In the meantime, I've adjusted my schedule since I am retired. So now I get up at 5 o'clock because they start here at 6. But the good news is they're done at 3. I will bring this pelargonium closer to the house for the night. Since it's not going to be a hard frost, I'm not going to worry about covering anything. There was a little bit of activity going on over here. I had AFS come and put another beam in under my house. I had some work done last year, which this flower bed is still recovering from, but they bricked in the base of my house, or I should say cinder blocked in, which is really nice because this year I had no animal infiltration or infestation, whatever you want to call it. And the other thing I did for the first time in 30 years is not have to run my water when we had the real hard frost. Got to close that because Miss Mimi is back here somewhere. These camellias have really done well this year. These 4 in this, I call it watermelon pink. It's exactly the same color as my hyacinths, as my crepe myrtle. Miss Mimi threw me for a loop as she came down here, greeting me at the door. But that was my thinking about these are the same color as the crepe myrtle I have in the front yard. So I'd carry that color through into the backyard using camellias. But I'd looked up on some of my videos, and I want to say that these camellias have been blooming here sporadically for about a month already. So they are quite long blooming camellias. No fragrance on them, but they are beautiful. Oh, the sun is out. Let's see what time this says. Well, I don't know as if you can quite see it, but I'm in the way. It is right about here because it's about 9 o'clock. I don't know if you can really see that or not, but without me getting in the way of it. The sundial does work. And of course, I'm real proud of my snowdrops. This is just the first of the blooms, but I really like them. Whenever I see them around, I do buy them, but the leucodiums, they don't tend to be sold all that much anymore. You have to get them off the internet. Occasionally, the botanical gardens will have them. And I thought I would share with you all what I did do some potting up and put inside my garage. Whew. I have the heater on in here, and you can see the moisture level. That is one of the problems. This is basically my greenhouse. That was the whole reason I put this place here and put the windows in. That's the south side of the building. I learned early on when I moved to this zone that you really don't want a greenhouse in a zone 8B because it's like putting your plants in a frying pan. You don't need a greenhouse, but just having a south exposure is usually enough. And you can see here these amaryllis are going to be moved to the front porch pretty soon. And I brought this pitcher plant in. I did buy, oh, here are the cuttings I took from the angel's trumpets, and you saw me put them in pots after I rooted them in water before that first frost, and they have not lost a single leaf, so far so good. These are the cuttings from the iachroma. I don't hold much hope in them growing, but it doesn't cost me anything to stick them in and hope. I did buy this plant as new. I bought a little bay tree. I was watching a YouTube video and the woman on YouTube had bought a bay tree, and I got to thinking, you know, I like to grow herbs. I'll try putting one in a pot. They are hardy to this zone, but I've not known of anyone that's been successful in actually growing them in the ground. I got this one from A Bloom Garden Center. So I potted it up in that pot, and I'm hoping to keep it on my back deck for the summer. These are my Japanese ground orchids. They haven't set bud yet, but they will shortly. I need to turn them a little because they are leaning towards the sun. Here is the last pot of my paper whites. I'll see what happens. I'm not expecting much because, as you might guess, when you have a big bag of paper whites, when you plant them, at least if you're me, you pick the nicest looking budded ones first. So these were the last of them, so these were kind of the dregs of all of my bulbs. So I'm not expecting a full turnout, but at least I'll have one more pot. And I rescued this frostbitten fiddly fig from Lowe's. It was half price because it was end of season and they wanted to get rid of it. And I have started some seeds. I started a 6-pack of dill. I did look up and Google the last frost date for zone 8B, and the last frost date is, depending on which source you use, either the last week of February, February 28th, or first week of March. So I'm going to choose the first week of March. So at least that's when you can start planting things outside. And I did see some beautiful looking herbs in one of the shops I was in this week. However, I noticed the price of everything has gone up. So you do want to quite pay attention to when your last frost date is if you're going to be investing in any potted plants this year. And I do mean investing. Hi, Miss Mimi. Are you enjoying the sun? That's one of the reasons I put this little deck on here, is it's nice to sit there and enjoy the morning sun in the winter. Because in the wintertime, the deck on my house, being north-facing, doesn't get any sun, so I sit here and have my morning coffee. Which, speaking of morning coffee, I've got some perked in the house, and I am looking forward to having it. So that's about it for today. It is just so gloriously sunny that I thought I would do a quick walk around with you all this morning. So have a good day.